brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you alternator belt replacement. This is a 2003 Honda Civic, and it has the 1.7 liter 4-cylinder. It's pretty much the same for any 2001 to 2005 Civic. And the items you'll need for this repair are 8 to 14 millimeter wrenches, as well as sockets, ratchets, and extensions, pliers, flat blade screwdriver, a pry bar if necessary, and penetrating oil. 10 millimeter wrench. Loosen your negative battery cable first. Pull it up and off and remove it. I'm going to loosen this 12 millimeter nut here, which will allow us to loosen up this wing nut. And then there's also a bolt right down here that we need to loosen. This 12 millimeter bolt on the front, pull your reservoir up and out of the way. And the bolt is right here. So just get your wrench down in. Just loosen that one up a little bit. And this is your adjusting screw. I'm gonna hit it with a little penetrating oil. Down on the threads. Pliers just to get it to go. Okay, and you can turn it counterclockwise. And the pump should pivot down to loosen up the belt. Okay, with the belt off, remove this 10 millimeter bolt, remove the 12 millimeter nut the rest of the way, and the 12 millimeter bolt, and we'll pull the reservoir and pump up out of the way. A ratcheting wrench on this bolt will help. I have the nut off. Now I'm just trying to pull the bolt out of the underneath, and the whole thing can come up and out of the way. Then down below the alternator, there's a adjustment locking bolt right here. Remove that. A 14 millimeter bolt here at the top of the alternator. Loosen that. Now you have the adjustment bolt here. You see this wing nut. And you can use a pair of pliers, grab onto it and get it started and free. And then you loosen it up so you can move the alternator around. So we've loosened up the top one as well as the locking bolt down at the bottom. And the alternator is not showing any signs of moving. This appears to be the original alternator that's been in here for over 10 years. So it could be just the aluminum's kind of seized up to this bracket. So I'm just going to use a pry bar and try and break the seal a little bit. So that didn't work, so I'm actually just going to take this bolt all the way out. And we're just going to shoot the whole top where that bolt goes through with penetrating oil. Let it settle down in. In order to get this top alternator bolt out, you have to remove this 12 millimeter bolt and this bracket for the power steering reservoir. Pull this bolt out as far as it goes. And get the alternator to move out of here. Okay, so it's pretty obvious that this alternator's probably never been out of this car. so it's just not moving, it's kind of frozen in place. We've already removed the top bolt all the way. We're gonna now remove the bottom bolt all the way. Hopefully your vehicle, you don't have to do this. You should be able to just loosen this one, loosen the bottom one, and then turn the wing nut, which allows the alternator to go in, and you can take the belt off. But we have to go a little further because this vehicle is in a little bit rougher shape. Okay, so you can slide the alternator down, and the belt come up and off and out. Feed the belt down in. And then you can either reach from the bottom, or it's easy enough to get it from the top. Take it off the alternator, get it on the crank first. Alternator AC, and it's good. And then you can start tightening up your adjusting bolt. Okay, just pull your alternator up. Since you got everything greased well, it'll move easily, and tighten up the wing nut for the adjuster. And tighten up that wing nut until your belt has about 1/4 inch of play in it. So we're going to tighten up the top bolt. We've got our belt adjusted where we want it. Tighten up here. And we'll tighten it up. Yeah, just get it good and tight. Don't over tighten it. And then we'll do the 12mm bolt below. And replace the power steering reservoir bracket. Okay, so before we put our power steering pump back in place, we're just going to put this bolt right down in here. Bring the pump down. Okay, this stud goes right up through here. Push that through. Get this up like that, and a large washered nut goes on the back side of that. Put this bracket up in place, and 10mm bolt down and in, and then push the stud through. You can see it coming out right down there, and put the 12mm bolt back in place. Kind of hard to film without getting my big paws in the way, but. And just one we can tighten up before we put the belt on is this bolt on the top bracket here. Belt, just for now, just push it down in. We'll actually get it on the crank pulley below, from below. So we'll just put it down on and put it on the power steering pulley for now. You don't have to have your vehicle on a lift or the wheel and tire off. We just did it to make it easier to film. But what you want to do is reach up in here, you see the belt hanging down, and just guide it onto your crank pulley. Okay, now just pull up, and you can tighten up your tensioner. So tighten this up, check your tension. When you push down, you should only push down about 1/4 inch on the belt. Use a pair of pliers on the wing nut if you need to. And then basically what you want to do is once you get the tension right, tighten up this upper nut, run the vehicle for about 5 minutes, check the tension again, adjust it if you need to, and make sure you tighten up this nut, and then tighten up the bottom 12mm bolt that holds it. Tighten up the top 12mm nut. And tighten up this 12mm bolt. And getting the wrench on there is half the battle. and put your reservoir back in place. First, and your negative cable, tighten up.
We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.